Hi, everyone, and welcome to our final day together. We've made it. I hope that this week has been helpful to you and that you've got some good ideas about how to make this year, this academic year, a really good one for your children and also for you. I've really enjoyed hearing about all the things that you've been doing and the optimism that you have about moving forward. So on our last day, I'm going to change track a little bit and be a bit pessimistic and to think about um, what happens when things go wrong. So today we're really going to be focusing on what happens when the wheels fall off. Because the truth is that no matter how perfect your plan is and how stellar your organizational skills are, this year is going to be busy and there will be times where there are unexpected challenges. Your children will get grumpy and tired, as will you, and things will go wrong. And so we're going to think a little bit about what we can do in those moments. And so you can kind of plan ahead for those moments. Hopefully, you're not already there with the wheels falling off, and that. What can you do to alleviate that stress in those moments? So when I was living in Singapore, one of my wisest friends was a local mum who had children with similar challenges to mine, and she was the kindest and most patient person that I've ever met. And she told me about some of the habits that she was cultivating with her trans autistic ADHD child, to help regulate emotions and to bring organisation to her life. And one of the things that she said has always stuck with me. And she said, and we do these things in peacetime to prepare for times of war. And that really struck me because it really is about cultivating habits in less stressful times so that it will be easier to hold on to them in a more challenging moment. So we practice fire alarms when there isn't a fire so that we know what to do when there is a real emergency. And I think what I'm trying to say is that in order to be ready for those glitches and those moments where the wheels fall off, we need to start building those habits that we've talked about this week right now. So I think on my first thing that I want to say really is that um, just carry on with the things that you have started this week. Um, because it will really help you in those times of stress. Like you will have something to fall back on, your children will have something to fall back on instead of trying to learn a new habit from scratch. So so keep up the momentum of all the things that you have put into place this week. And build on those habits. One thing that I would say is that when the wheels do fall off, is to get back to basics. And so I start all of my coaching sessions in this way. And I ask these basic questions like, how safe do you feel? How much exercise are you getting? How connected are you? How much joy and calm and fun do you have in your life? Um, and that's because if these basic needs are out of kilter, your children will probably experience executive dysfunction. So, I encourage you to ask these questions regularly of your children and also of yourself. And it will encourage a habit of reflection. And you might start to see patterns of like, what brings you more joy or what happens when you are eating junk food or not getting enough exercise or whatever. And also, it can help you to change course. So, if you notice that a lack of, I don't know, connection or fun or whatever is a week where executive function skills aren't as strong, then you can make those changes as necessary. So one of the things that you could do today is download the file that I have on with these back to basic questions and practice using them whenever you need to. Another thing that I would say is that when the wheels do fall off, to go back to those questions about values. So if we talked about this a little bit this week, in that when you notice that your child is not doing a behavior that they said they would or whatever, then challenging the behavior is probably not going to get you the best results. Whereas if you go back to the values, that will be less confronting. So if you see your child is not cultivating the reading habit that they said they wanted, you could say something like, hey, you remember you said that you wanted to become more curious this year? I've noticed that you aren't reading as much. What do you think's getting in the way of that? And just approach the conversation with that level of curiosity and then collaborate with them on solving the problem. That will be the most effective way of getting a result. Um, Now, for some of you, if the wheels really do fall off and your child really could benefit from more guidance, then I'd really recommend that you consider coaching. And this is really well, I would say about 60% of the students that I coach are neurodivergent. And others are not. Like, some of them are students whose anxiety levels are really getting in the way of them being successful. And I can work with students to work out what those where that anxiety comes from, and work with them on those executive function skills to alleviate that anxiety. And for some students, they have an ADHD profile or an autism profile or some other learning difference, where they just need some extra support. So if this is your child, I'm currently taking bookings for this next term. I run a 12-session package because it usually takes time to solidify those habits. Yeah, and so if that is you or your child, then I'd really recommend that you consider this. And if you reach a point where managing your child's executive function development becomes a source of tension between you and your child, or you just reach a point of exhaustion or frustration, then please outsource um, that task of working on executive function to somebody else, because it's more important that you build and protect your relationship with your child than for them to get an assignment done on time. So if that sounds like something that would be of benefit to you, then please do get in touch. I'd love to help. And I also run parent coaching sessions. So this is something else that you might consider if you think that your child might not be ready for coaching, but you still need some help and support, then this is for you. So this is really for the parents out there who do have neurodivergent children, who really, really struggle, and that as a result, you too are struggling. And if that is you, I see you, and I have been there. I've been right there. I know how it feels to be exhausted, to be out of ideas, to wonder if this is ever going to get any better. I know exactly where you are, and I would love to support you. So through coaching sessions, I can help you to figure out your own executive function profile, how to navigate those conversations with your children so that they're more collaborative, and also figuring out some things for your own well-being too. So if that is you, then please do get in touch. I would love to help, and I really want you to know that you are not alone. So that really is it for this week. Some things for you to do for today is to download that fundamentals check-in task worksheet. Maybe think about planning ahead for when those things get difficult and how you're going to phrase those conversations. And if coaching is for you or for your child, then please do book a call with me and explore coaching. So the previous slides have some QR codes, or you can just go to my website and get in touch with me that way. So do keep in touch. I'd love to hear from you on the Facebook page today, to find out what it is that you've gained from this week. And keep in touch. My blog posts on my website usually have some little nuggets for the school year and to help you and your children. And I hope that you've enjoyed this challenge, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Take care.